Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we're going to be talking about hand trucks. We'd like to thank Carol Parker for liking and sharing the podcast. We'd also like to thank Mike Luoma from the Glow in the Dark radio podcast. He let us mention our podcast on his podcast. Cindy is working on book 13, and you can check out our other 12 ebooks. They're called Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 12, on Amazon. Historians think wheels were added to sleds around 3500 BC to turn them into carts, so loads could be moved easier. The ancient Greeks used two-wheeled carts pulled by people or animals. In the 1700s, two-wheeled sack trucks were developed to move large sacks of products off ships, and they looked very similar to hand trucks. The first patents for a hand truck were granted in the 1800s. The first pneumatic wheels, 1845.
Exciting.
A hand truck is generally a two-wheeled, L-shaped cart to move objects, although some come with four wheels so you could lay it down and stack things on the frame like a dolly. And some people call a hand truck a dolly, but a dolly or a moving cart is a four-wheeled flat cart, and it can have one or two handles, or it can be just a small square padded cart with no handle so you can move furniture. Most dollies are...
Wow, that's a great description.
Thank you. So most dollies will carry more weight than a hand truck, but you have to lift items onto a dolly. Hand trucks make lifting and moving objects easier using less force. You would tilt the item that you're lifting back slightly so you can slide the bottom toe plate of your hand truck under it. Then you're going to pull the item back against the frame. By pulling back on the frame, you can lever your load off the ground with less effort and chance of injury. You're then going to balance the weight over the wheels so it's easier to move. Levers have been used for thousands of years to move objects or lift heavy items. In ancient Egypt, they used levers to move huge stones, and they also created levers to lift water or soldiers over walls. Crazy,
Soldiers?
Huh? Yeah, like if they were at a castle and they wanted to get their soldiers over the wall, they created levers to lift them up and over.
Are we going to do a podcast about catapults?
That would be fantastic. Archimedes, the Greek mathematician, astronomer, engineer, and inventor who died in 212 BC, was one of the first to explain how a lever works. And hand trucks use that lever concept. The frame and the handle become the effort arm of the lever. The bottom toe plate is the resistance arm, and the wheels act like a fulcrum. OSHA has a standard weight limit for most employers to help prevent injury to their employees. They're recommending not lifting more than 51 pounds, and this
51?
is 51. And this is based on medical research on the compressive forces needed to cause damage to the bones and ligaments in the back. There are also other risk factors that could lower that weight limit. So if you're holding an object away from your body, or if you have to twist while you're lifting it or hold it above your head, the weight should actually be less than that.
Okay.
By using a hand truck, one person can safely lift and move items much heavier than 51 pounds.
Exciting.
With a dolly or a moving cart, one person can move heavy items, but you may need two or more people to help you lift the load onto the dolly. Mayo Clinic says one of the main factors for back pain and injury is exerting too much force on your back from lifting or moving heavy objects. Repetitive lifting and twisting while you're lifting can also cause injury.
Ouch.
Cedars-Sinai Healthcare says when you lift or carry heavy objects, you can overstretch the muscles in your back or tear a ligament, which can cause inflammation or spasms. And heavy lifting can also damage your vertebrae and discs. There are a few types of hand trucks. The standard is a two-wheel upright. There are two-wheel assist, or it's called four-wheel upright. And this type of hand truck has two wheels that rotate to keep the truck at an angle to support your load, or it can have two small wheels by the toe plate, and the large wheels make contact when it's tilted back. And this way you don't have to balance your load. It makes it much easier to go through doorways if you're alone.
Right.
Convertible hand trucks have 4 wheels. You're going to have 2 small wheels on the top of the frame, and this lets you lay the hand truck down on the frame so you can use it like a dolly. The handle usually pulls out and can be repositioned, or it pivots so you can push your load like a cart.
Interesting.
3-in-1 hand trucks can be used like a 2-wheel upright, a 4-wheel assist upright, or a 4-wheel dolly. 4-in-1 hand trucks have a toe plate that folds down. So now you have the end with that toe plate out of the way for larger loads when you're laying it flat on its back like a cart.
Right.
Folding hand trucks have handles that adjust to different heights and a toe plate that folds flat against the frame. So this makes it easy to store or put in your vehicle. Stair climbing hand trucks have either multiple wheels, a track, a glide strip, or metal tubes, and that makes getting up and down stairs easier or getting over curbs easier.
Right.
Appliance hand trucks generally have a wide but shallow toe plate with a tall frame. They usually have straps built into the frame that can be tightened around your load and locked in place.
Right.
I spoke to Magliner. It's Magliner. They have aluminum modular hand trucks, so you can customize your hand truck.
Really?
You pick the frame, the handle, the toe plate, the type of wheel, and you can add stair climbing glide bars to it. They recommend a straight back frame with cross braces for the widest range of loads. They say a curved back frame holds circular items better if you're primarily just moving garbage cans or barrels. Solid tires work well on smooth surfaces and they're never going to go flat. These are good for indoor projects. Flat free wheels are usually polyurethane or some type of foam or a thick rubber with a hollow center. These will absorb more shock than solid rubber or composite tires, and they're generally wider too, so these are good for moving loads outside on gravel, grass, or uneven surfaces.
Okay.
Pneumatic tires have an inner tube. These tires are going to be wider than solid tires and good for reducing shock and going over uneven surfaces or outside if you're on gravel or grass, but you have to keep them inflated, so there's more maintenance.
Okay.
A handle with a horizontal loop is very versatile. You can use it with 1 or 2 hands. You have a lot of different grip options. A vertical loop that comes off perpendicular to the frame gives you more hand options. You would usually have this with a horizontal loop, and it can help you pull back your load while you're holding onto your load with 1 hand.
Oh, interesting.
Double loop handles have 2 additional vertical loops on the back of the frame, and this can help you when you're climbing stairs for a better grip, depending on where they are on the frame, or for pulling back the load, and it helps if you're right-handed or left-handed, depending on where it's located. Single and double grip handles coming off the back of the frame is another option. And you can check out Magliner and see all the different variations you can get on hand trucks at magliner.com. It's Magliner.com.
Okay.
Compare the weight ratings and the handle length when you're shopping. Well, depending on how it feels on your hands, because some of these with just handles that come out, you're locked into 1 hand position.
Right.
Whereas some will give you multiple hand positions. And again, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, if you're going up or down stairs. So if they have samples out, you can see how the different links feel and where you're going to be placing your hands. And after all the years I've used hand trucks to unload stock at the hardware stores, I prefer a longer handle height, around 50 inches, and a horizontal loop handle that's angled back. I also found that a longer handle on a hand truck that climbs stairs lets me keep a straighter back, so there's less strain on the small of my back when I'm pulling a load upstairs.
Especially since you're old.
Compare the toe plate size and the shape. Bigger is usually better.
Right.
For convertible or stair climbing hand trucks, compare the weight. Some of the metal hand trucks can be heavy to pull upstairs, depending on your load. I have an old metal hand truck that I used at the hardware stores. It's 48 inches tall. The toe plate is 7 inches deep and 14 inches wide. and it has 10-inch pneumatic wheels, and it's just a workhorse. I've used it, for decades. It lifts a wide variety of things, and I forget the brand. The label's been worn off.
Oh, you gotta stamp that into the metal, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm pretty sure this has a 500 or 600 pound capacity. I have a Magna cart folding hand truck. It's Magna, capital C-A-R-T, and I use this to make deliveries. The handle is 39 inches tall, and it's a little low for some loads, since I'm 5'10". The toe plate is 15...
Well, 5'10", that's basically 6 foot.
That's right. That's what I always say.
I know.
The toe plate,
That's why it was fun.
The toe plate is 15 inches wide and 10 inches deep, and it has 5-inch solid wheels. And this has, I believe, a 100-pound load rating. I also have an up cart, and this is a stair climbing hand truck. It's just UP, capital C-A-R-T, and this folds up for storage or to put it in a vehicle. It has notches on the frame for straps or bungee cords when you're climbing stairs. It has 3 wheels on each side, and they rotate when you're climbing stairs. It's pretty cool. When you're on flat surfaces, you have 2 wheels that make contact with the flooring on each side. The toe plate is 18 inches wide and 10 inches deep, and it has 4 different handle heights up to 50 inches tall, and the model I have has a 200-pound load rating.
Okay. Some
top-rated hand trucks come from Milwaukee, Magliner, Magna Cart, Costco, Harper, and Upcart. And if you need a hand truck just for one big project, or if you're moving, you can also rent a hand truck from a rental store or a home center. Michigan State University and Georgia State University have some safety tips for hand trucks. Place your heaviest items on the bottom of a stack. Also, organize by size, keeping the larger items at the bottom of a stack, or just make multiple trips if they don't stack well.
Right.
You can load boxes or items to the top of the frame, but make sure you can see easily over the top of your load. And the load should be against the frame and stable so it doesn't shift while you're moving or turning. When you're tilting your load back, use a foot against the bar at the bottom of the frame or the bar between the wheels, and hold onto your load with one hand to keep it against the frame. And don't pull back too far so you have to support a lot of the weight. You want to balance your load over the wheels so they carry most of the weight.
Tricky.
Push the hand truck rather than pulling it for better control and less chance of injury. You want to go straight over bumps, thresholds, and curbs. If you go over them at an angle, you can tip your load.
Bummer.
If you have to go downstairs, you should take them one at a time with a standard hand truck.
Obviously. You should always take stairs one at a time.
True. Keep the load over the wheels. You don't want to tilt the frame too far back when you're going downstairs. And plan your path and measure the doorways before you move your load. Use work gloves with a good grip, especially in hot or damp weather, so you don't lose your grip.
Okay.
If you have odd-shaped objects or heavy items, you can use bungee cords to hold them to the frame or adjustable straps. The Great Bungee, National Hardware, and Night Eyes, it's N-I-T-E, capital I-Z-E, they all have adjustable bungees.
Okay. You're not going to spell bungees?
B-U-N-G-E-E.
Do you have anything else to add? I can't believe we talked this long about hand trucks.
If you're shopping for a hand truck, compare the height, the handle style, the toe plate size, and the weight rating. A 3-in-1 or a 4-in-1 hand truck is the most versatile, and one that can climb stairs, or at least if it has an area by the wheels so you can pull it over a high curb, that's helpful.
Right.
Folding hand trucks are good if you don't have a lot of room for storage or if you plan on taking it with you in a vehicle.
Exciting. Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, or your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our ebooks, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, books 1 through 12 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter @FixItCohost, and you can follow us on Instagram, Fix-It Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.